Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game between ISI playing West German 5th Panzer Division and this guy playing 8th US. I did translate his name. Apparently his name is Novice Village Chief. So we'll cover the deck reviews and we'll talk about the map, the matchup, the deployments of the game, and as always timestamps in the description. Okay, so this is ISI's deck for the game. He's playing 5th Panzer. Controversial div in that there's some people who think it's OP, or at least some people who think it's very strong. But the majority opinion is that it isn't. It's just bad second Panzer, because you don't need that many Leopard 2s in a typical game, in a 1v1 game. In a team game, it makes a lot of sense. But in a 1v1 game, essentially, it's just second Panzer, but with worse AA, and worse infantry, and worse artillery, and and worse planes. So yeah, and worse IFBs. And then in exchange you get a load of tanks, which you don't really need. So yeah, I don't like it personally. Anyways, too much artillery here for a 1v1. Um, there's a case to be made for like the last two spam to just lower cohesion of people constantly, just constantly lower their cohesion. The case can be made, right? And if you look at the AP slots, like this is a 1 AP slot. I personally like because so if you get these, you have to micro them for the whole game, and you got to tow them and untow them, tow them and untow them for the sake of you know 75 more points. You can get one of these, which it's the same, but you don't have to load it and unload it the whole game. And it can make the difference. It can be the difference between life and death. What usually happens is this gets counter batteried, or while you're looking at this over the course of 40 minutes, you're going to be looking at this a lot because you got to move it after every salvo. So that's once a minute. So you got to do that 40 times. I mean, obviously you're only going to buy it like 10 minutes into the game, maybe, so stuff like that. If you want to do that 30 times in a game, and you think you're not going to lose one unit while you're doing that and not looking at what's happening on the front line, then that's your business. But I personally would rather, because like the difference is 75 points, which is this. So do you think by towing this over the course of the game, you're going to lose less than one unit when you're not looking? Maybe, maybe, maybe. Um, So yeah, the one AP slot, right? So you can bring the Lars too if you want, and just use it to. I don't understand why it can't be upvetted. That is weird. Actually, it used to be upvettable. But the idea is you just use this to just constantly suppress enemy infantry, and you just keep it firing for basically the whole game. Because yeah, the reload time's not so bad. Like there is a case to be made for that. Other people would because like this is a 2 point slot, for example, and so you could down vet this, get rid of both of these, and then you'd have 2 AP, and then you could get some tanks, right, which you don't really need any more of, let's face it. So although it can be really nice to have 4 of these at the start, um like open with 3 of these and a leopard 2A3, something like that. And then you can get a lot of DPS downrange if you buy 4 of these at 2 vet at the start. I think that's probably worth it. And then you don't need 3 cards of supply anymore because you've down vetted your howitzers. So, but honestly, like you could just get rid of one of these and then still have still have these up vetted and what have you, right? Whatever you want. But yeah, you could also try this bad boy out. I mean, it's just because it's a 1 AP slot that you can't fill another way. Uh, yeah, I mean, But yeah, you wouldn't need 2 cards of supply if you've only got this. And then you can get this thing, so you can buy 2 CBs at the start. It's pretty useful. Right. And then you can get rid of one of these. There's lots of different ways to do this. I'm not saying this is the right way. 4 AP, eh? So you can still run 2 cards. Yeah. You can still run 2 cards of supply. But you got a lot of tanks and stuff. But yeah, not bringing this. Well, okay, let's just start again. Okay, I'm a bit tired today. So, no fancy business, right? Just get rid of those. You can bring the Lars too if you really want. Not having a rocket plane, really, this thing is so good. Also, since they changed high altitude bombers, so the bombs drop faster, this thing's a lot better now. Considering this just misses all the time. This thing is a lot better now, you should try it out. But yeah, this rocket plane is core on 5 Panzer. You really need it, because in the opener you can just buy it and it will just obliterate something, and later on in the game, you know, you can fly it out in front of your cluster plane or whatever, so it's very useful. So yeah, you could get rid of a card of supply or whatever. Or you could, but yeah, I do think you should be bringing these for the early game. I think that's very useful, actually. How do we get it in there? 2-point slot, so you'd have to get rid of a card of supply, or get rid of another tank card for this rocket plane. The rocket plane, man, you need it. You need it. Oh, what the hell's going on here? Okay, so get rid of an AA piece. Doesn't matter which one, right? If you're bad at controlling seed, turning things off in terms of seed, then, you know, keep the rolling too. But otherwise, like, this is just massive overkill. If you're bad against seed, get rid of the Gepard, because this is your anti-helo. But I would get rid of the Roland too, and just cope with the fact that you have to turn off your radars, right? And then you can get that. You really do need this. It's very important. That needs to be there somehow. Yeah, Pioneer, Carl Gustav and Pioneer in the Foxes, that's very important. I'm not so sure about this unit. I mean, it's just, I suppose it's just the same as Jaeger. So you can bring it if you want over Jaeger. Which literally are, they are just stat clones of each other. It's a shame, really. Transport's different, right? But this still comes in a truck, so yeah, there's nothing unfathomably terrible about bringing this. But imagine a world in which you have MG3 teams which are completely broken and you really should be bringing these. So, yeah, and if you're like, oh, I desperately need more infantry to chuck into the breach, I mean, do you? You've got, I wouldn't be bringing this at no vet. Because it's fighting recon, it's got high HP, you want it engaged. So I'd be bringing that at 1 vet. And so you've got 18 fighting infantry, right? As in, like, because obviously these guys, they're alright for the price, but they are, you know, not high HP. And you're bringing them in an IFE and stuff. But yeah, if you just want guys to fight, you've got 18 of those. So, and you're not going to win a forest fight anyway, because you're 5th Panzer. Anyway, I think we've sussed out every tab now. So, switching to his opponents. So I looked up his name, right? And apparently his name is Novice Village Chief in Mandarin, or well, it just says Chinese, so who knows, it might be Cantonese. He's playing 8th US. Couple things, like 8th US as an air spam div is just don't do it. It just doesn't work. You can try it. I've tried every way to make it work, but it's like, oh, well, this is your seed and it's crap. And then what is your bomber? This at 1 per card, in which case you got to bring 2, which is 6 AP, or this, which is, if your enemy has a brain, this isn't going to hit anything because it will be intercepted. And then it has to reload for 4 minutes. So I just don't think it's a good idea. These should be at 1 vet. This should be at 1 vet. And honestly, bring the CEV. So useful. This div really struggles against infantry. It just can't kill it fast enough. Some weird things going on here. So aircav troopers are kind of ass. Like, so for this 5 points more, you get special forces and better machine guns. You do lose the assault rifles, you get carbines instead, but I think it's worth it, frankly. And they can still come in a Black Hawk if you want, but you've already got a Black Hawk troop here. I would just bring them at 1 vet, honestly. I would just bring all your infantry at 1 vet here. Because they're going to be doing a lot of dying. A lot of dying. Gunners, we can talk about gunners. 2 fewer guys for 5 point savings is not worth it, so that's all there is to say about gunners. You want the MMG teams, you can bring out 1 vet if you want. And you need some kind of engineers or engineers flash. You can use engineers flash, it's just you got to make sure you've always got a regular squad in front of them. Because they've not got any HP. This is all good. 3 cards of supply kind of makes sense on this div, although I would be bringing this instead of... this thing's really good. So 2, 4, 6, 8, that's a lot. You don't need 8 CVs, so... which one's the good one? This is my favourite, because it's only 50 points and it's got smoke and AT. Like, this has loads of HP, but it's not got AT or smoke. And this has AT and smoke, but it's 75 points. And it's like, well, it gets a sniper. Mate, if your CV shooting at somebody, it's about to die, so... I would be bringing this. There's a case to be made for bringing these guys in the M113s. But yeah, having a guy just in the regular trucks is okay. I would have a card of Mech Rifles Law. Because... you know, sometimes you just need some infantry with a gun, I mean, and an AT. I suppose you could say this is that, but... you don't always need the M113s or whatever. And then you've got 3 AP. I would bring the ITO team or the TOW 2 team. You've got... oh, I don't vet that. Yeah, just whichever one you want. This is good at killing people, but it just immediately gets artied and then you run out of them because you've only got 3. So some people prefer this one. And yeah, we spoke about this. And we need something more here. There's not... what? Don't do that. Simply because you need the AP. You can bring the Chappie if you want. At 1 vet if you want. I prefer the Pivads because against helos it just kind of rinses helos. The issue is the range is kind of bad. This has much better range and it can help against planes and it can't be seeded, so maybe it is a better idea. They do different things really. It's a genuinely good choice. Anyway, that gives you 3 more AP, which allows you to actually get some recon. So like LRS or core, you need to be bringing that. That's your airborne forward deployed opener. Bringing scouts into Blackhawks doesn't make too much sense to me. You've already got some heli-born guys. If you're planning a heli rush with this div, you're playing it wrong, basically. Bring the ACAV. That's cool. You can send it around the sides and it's nice. Or you can bring this if you want to just go fast. Although you'll notice it's only 5 kilometers an hour faster off-road. So I prefer the ACAV. And this, you've already got like a wheeled guy here now. Yeah, you want one of these to be the regular hog, because this brings 14 rockets and this brings 76. So this is just trash against infantry, so you want an anti-infantry one, especially given that I got rid of your bomber here. So this thing, if your infantry is breaking through, you can literally just chuck this at it, and it'll solve a lot of your problems. A lot of your problems. So... yeah, that's the deck reviews. Now we'll talk about the map, the matchup, the deployments, and the game. And as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so with that out of the way, This map, blue's on the good side because this big hill makes Bravo very difficult to take, and once you take it, blue can get in reasonably easy. If you take it, blue can get in reasonably easy because they can, there's a big forest here, so they can sort of come around, or they can just jump this little gap. On this side, there's no nice fallback forest, and if red loses this, it's very hard for them to get back in because it's just a big open field. So you have to come up here where you just get shot by this building, and then you have to go across, and it's not great. In terms of the matchup, probably say 8th US is better than 5th Panzer, because 8th US gets Eyehawks and Stingers and better planes and better arty. It does not get IFVs, so that is a problem. Like, it doesn't get the ATGM spam that all the other divs get, or a lot of other divs get. Yeah. Looking at the deployments, we've got Village Chief here. He's heli rushing. Spoke about in the deck review about how a lot of these units, it's not really great to have so many heli-borne units. They're good for reinforcing positions, but this usually doesn't work because people, so okay, you show up with a couple infantry in helicopters, and then this blob, which should have a bunch of light tanks in it, but it doesn't. Spoke about that in the deck review as well. He's gone straight for the Leopard 2A3. It's not a good idea because it gets sniped. So you want to open with the light tanks, the Leopard 1A1s, the Leopard 1A5s. And so basically a blob should come down here and just obliterate all of these guys before reinforcement. Like, look, he just doesn't have any units. I assume a bunch of A10s are about to show up. So yeah, looking at the deployment, he's got some defensive scouts, sort of offensive scouts, but the thing, because he brings it in a Blackhawk, he's just paying the 60-point tax to put it there. Recon Helo, more Blackhawks with Rangers in it, and a CV for India Alpha. And I'm assuming there's going to be some A10s and F16s in this, otherwise this doesn't make any sense, because where are all his points? Switching to his opponent, we've got ISI here. He's opening with a Fernschwer. Also on this side, you can put an ATGM in here and it can just shoot down here. It's not very fair. And then we've got Supply, Pioneer Carl Gustavs, Villinger, 2 Milan 2s. One's going in here, in which case the Recon shouldn't be in here because then it's both in the same building. A Leopard 2 and a Roland 2. And a CV for Alpha Bravo. Another Zwillinger for mid with some Fernschwer and 2 more looks. And then we've got a Zwillinger on the right. Some Jägeraufklärer, some Fernschwer, 2 looks. So let's cast the game. Right, so they're off and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, you get members exclusive videos. One join at the lowest levels worth 2,000 views, so if you're feeling bad about your ad block, it's a great way to support the channel. Otherwise, please just like the video. It's free, and it makes YouTube recommend the video to more people. So here we've got a Max Vet EW plane, which is, in my opinion, a colossal waste of money. Because it can still die in one hit. It's just got a low chance of doing so, but you play enough Warno, you see it all happen, honestly. So ISI not paying attention there, loses half of his deployment because he's just not looking. Okay, so this guy's probably going to die, so what's he doing? Keeps panicking, just needs to unload and hide behind the building here. Anyway, the Roland 2 hits the A10 on its first shot, so much for the W plane. And, yeah, so it looks like Red's getting in. But basically, like, he needs to react. I mean, he's just... because he's going to get shot. I mean, what is he doing? So, he's noticed, but I think it's a bit too late. Although his opponent needs to just stop, and then he would shoot these, but they're firing on the move, and... So, it goes down eventually to the small arms. This thing will be back in a minute, because it reloads so fast. And you see the issue now with the Leopard 2A3. If you had a 4 Leopard 1A1s, or 3, for the same price, you could have 3 Leopard 1A1s at 2 vet. And they would be firing at 10 rounds a minute each, for a total of 30 rounds a minute. and so it tends to pay to open with the light stuff at the start of the game. Now, Red needs to back this up somehow with something, but he spent his first minute's income on a plane, and now he's just buying another plane. So what Blue needs to do is just get a couple more Rolands. Roland 3s are just way better, man. Although they do get seeded, so you do have to watch out for that. And then, yeah, you can push this out pretty easily, because the enemy can't reinforce, right? Because he's got an ATGM up here, and this obviously should be here, and then he's got another one there, and so this is where his tank is. He needs to stop his tank from dying, so he should be putting the infantry here, but he's just going on the right. Which, you know, we can see everything and he can't. But this, he doesn't need to send anybody here. This isn't, there's nobody there, right? I do like sending the Lux around the side. Doing it in pairs does boost their firepower, literally doubles it, but it also costs twice as much. And as you can see, this thing can't one-shot 10, there's the Roland 2, right? So sometimes you just hit a lot, and sometimes you miss. Air in this game never ceases to amaze me, frankly. Yeah, so honestly, I'd be sending all this over here. And, well, okay, maybe, you know, like one Milan 2 in a Fox Milan, right? Maybe one Roland 2 or one Gepard or something. Okay, so yeah, this has to turn. He needs to spread out a bit, because it is going to get both of them if he's not careful. And yeah, look, he's put it between them. So is he going to move out the way? Nope. So he loses both of them there. One bomb for each. You see the drop pattern there. Every plane in the game's got like a distinct drop pattern. So something like the Tornado bombers, they all tend to drop in like a long, thin line. That F-16 cluster tends to go one either side of the target. But it comes up every minute, so yeah, I mean, there's literally nothing here except three infantry. So I think once these guys show up, they can get stuff done, but he needs some supply, and he needs a replacement as Villinger, right? Because if these guys just keep landing here, then needs a way to shoot them, and this can't see them. And, you know, it might get shot and die, so you got to be careful with it, because it's so expensive. So something like a Villinger, or even a Gepard, because it's cheaper and it's got 3 armor. I don't bring the Roland 2s. On something like Spain, you have to, but I just prefer the Roland 3s, and I just micro them for seed. Like, there's actually very few players in the game who just bring seed, because it's so temperamental that most of them just don't bother, and a lot of decks just don't have it. And they're like, well, why should I bring seed when I can just bring another bomber? And, you know, if you're doing tournaments and stuff, it's one thing. I get the impression this is a ranked game. And so it depends on the matchup. But in general, seed's pretty temperamental. I bring it. And then I get very frustrated with it because it is just dog. I mean, it's ridiculous. The enemy AA outranges it. And if you put the AA in the forest, the seed can't see it. So, yeah, anyway. So yeah, the Roland 3 is better in that circumstance, of course, because it's got more range, more accuracy, and there's no seed anyway, so who cares? So yeah, I just bring the Roland 3 whenever I can. It's very rare that I'll bring both. So, you know, he's got units, he's just sort of not using them. I mean, once the Marders show up, you'd hope, basically, because you just put them here, and then you can assault this. Basically, you need to take this, and this, and this. So, this comes back again, because it's been a minute. And now we have a double A10. So, you know, what he really needs is a smoke mortar. And you smoke there. Sometimes you need... Well, so last time I played on this map, I was on this side, and I needed 2, because he had people here, and here, and here. And so you smoke there and there. And then you come up here and take this. And then you just move the smoke back. because if he's got guys here and you smoke here, well then he can't defend these. So the A10s are coming in, and there is a Roland 2, right? And so that's probably going to scare him away. Can't see him dying because... Yeah, exactly. And wow, the EW playing. Oh man. So... Yeah, the RT on the range is dragging. You should be moving it after it shoots, though. That's the thing. 2-vet M1A1 with no AA. I suppose he's relying on his fighters, and he's got plenty. And yeah, you see the power of the EW aircraft. I don't know why he's turned off the Mavericks. Does he not want to kill that? Gets it with the gun, but, you know... Would have increased his chances with the Mac. So, like, okay, so you're attacking here. Basically, all the Marders should be here shooting. You know, you bring up the Roland 2. All the Marders should be shooting. The Foxes should be in front of them shooting, because if they die, it's less important. So they can take an ATGM or whatever. And they've got smoke. There you go. So the Roland Zvillinger combo deals with the Toke over there. I think a Roland 3 does 6 damage, so it would just one-shot it. But this is 5, I think. I know it's got more accuracy and more range. I do like my Roland 3s. I think they're very good. They used to have a 20-second reload between the 2 salvo. They shortened it to 10. But, like, okay, so, like, this now will get its mojo back before... Has he given up? He must have lost sight of it. He just wants to kill something over here. So he reverses into the bombs. He loses a Roland 2, which is kind of a problem because he doesn't have enough AA here, really. Could transfer some stuff, but... Anyway, looks like ISI is going to take the zone, and that'll put him on a cheeky +1 tick. Thing is, he needs a CV. There it comes. And at this point, he could just walk through into Alpha. I mean, there's nothing really stopping him. And this is the issue with heli rushes. They're just... I mean, they can work, right? You can lose games to heli rushes. Like, it is a thing. I lost a game today to a heli rush. I mean, I got it back, but it was like the game ended before I could... Do you know what I mean? If the game had gone on 5 more minutes, I would have won, but that's obviously not how Warno works, and... So yeah, they can work, but... I don't know, I think his... Like, he just had nothing backing them up. And then, you know, they've lost a position. So 10 minutes later, the tanks show up, and it's like... Could have had, like, an M60 there or something. Get an ATGM, get an MMG and hit. Properly secure the ground. So we got this going on again. And, yeah, it gets evac'd before it can drop the bombs, and now it's going to die, and that's why you don't bring the A10HE, because it's crap. If it was 3 availability, I'd get it, like the SU-25 rocket or something. Don't really know why it's not. Anyway, I mean, what happened to that Leopard 2? Oh, it's there. It got hull breached by the Toko. Okay. So, this is kind of what these guys are for like helicopter reinforcements. Obviously the issue is there's a bunch of AA there, and he knows it's there because it shot his A10, and he's still doing it. But yeah, this is sort of what your heli-borne infantry's great for, because that's obviously going to arrive a lot faster than a car one, because of how much faster it goes, right? And it'll sell faster as well. Obviously the investment price is higher, and you don't actually sell it, you just sort of use it to scope out the battlefield until it gets mortally wounded, and then you try and sell it. This guy could survive if he so wished. Just needs to get out of that building, basically. And yeah, I really don't understand why he's turned off the Mavericks. So, Red has taken this zone because the CV that was here is gone. Oh, he killed it, didn't he, with the A10, if you recall. So, you know, that went about as well as you might expect. So if you're blue and you want to take this, right, you need to come over here and take this. You need to come over here and take this. And then, you know, because if you put somebody in there, like a Jaguar 2, for example. I'm not sure why he's got 4 bow parts, but... he baited out the fighters, right? So he loses 2 Bopars, but his enemy loses a 220-point jet. So that's like almost twice the KD, right? Well, and now, wow, okay. Came back and he's basically acting like the AA isn't there. Yeah, so you want to take this and get to here, but yeah, if you get a Jaguar 2 here, they just can't reinforce down this road. And if you get to here, then they can't reinforce down this road, and then you can take the zone from the front. But otherwise, you just end up sort of face planting a lot. But you know, it's easier said than done. I'm a big sayer of words, and often at times I don't follow my own advice. So it's a good shot with that Leopard 2, right? It's got a nice stabilizer. It's really weird. They buffed the stabilizers on the M1 and the Leopard 2. But they didn't buff it on the Challenger, so the Challenger just has terrible motion accuracy despite having the slowest speed out of any of those tanks, so... So yeah, a lot of guys kind of chilling out, waiting for stuff to happen. Needs a CV hit, really, blue. 80-point CV, for example. And then this, you know, you just turn off the autocover and just hide behind here. And, yeah, he really needs to come over here and take this. He'd have to kill this, but it doesn't actually have AT, so... If it surprised him, he wouldn't be much of a problem. But people they just see... Because it's there, and the road is here, and if you go around, you expose your side armor. People just... It's so common for people to do this, and that includes me. I've made that mistake on many occasions. So he did try it with this one, but he went too far away from the building, so he died. The Abrams are really good against infantry because they've got 3 machine guns, and you saw how much damage those were doing there. And one of them's a HMG, which is basically 2 MMGs, because look, this is 0.3, and this is 0.15. Obviously that's an approximation, because the accuracies are a little different, and, you know, but this has more range, so at the same range goes up, and the suppression, and it's about 2 MFGs, that's how you can see it. Rules of thumb are very important. It's like racism. Racism bad. Racism keeps you alive, Buster. Anyway, so getting some Milan 2s up here now, so that's good. And, yeah, the other thing is like smoke, right? You can smoke. So this is going for that A10, but you wouldn't want to fly right over this, because there should be AA there. I know there isn't, but there should have been an Eyehawk there. And if the A10 player, you want to turn directly into this and just fight it, because usually you'll just rout each other, or you'll win, because the A10 has a lot of HP, and so on. So Iltis shows up. That's going to cap this and put ISI on the +2. And, yeah, we got the 2 minutes 2 artillery purchase, so massive momentum lost there. You want to buy one, and then buy a bunch of frontline, and then buy the other one. Unless it's a static frontline where literally nothing's happening, but that's not the case here. This position is going to collapse, depending on how much pressure his opponent applies, which at the moment has been very limited. So maybe he does have time. Also, as soon as you buy it, it should be shooting, because they reload while they're moving. So you should buy it and immediately shoot something and then move it. So, it's all very clumped up here. And, oh, okay, he was going for the Gepard, right? And so I guess he couldn't see these. Rangers got spotted. I guess, yeah, this guy must have seen it. And yeah, you know, I do like the medium tanks on 5th Panzer, and that's why 2nd Panzer is better in a 1v1, because it gets more of them. Well, I suppose they're light tanks, the Leopard ones. I don't know. It's a fuzzy line, right? There's no ultimate distinction. It's just how I'm feeling on the day, right? They're like light mediums, I guess, because, you know, something like a Centurion, because there's like a lot of crap tanks in the game now that are like 50 points, 40 points, and those are light tanks, whereas the Leopard ones are like 100, and so does that make them mediums? I'd say about 100 to 200 is medium. or 100 to like 190 maybe. I'd say as soon as you get to 200, that's a heavy tank. But then, you know, it's not a... It's just in my head, bro. I mean, it doesn't matter. Anyway, both players content to just kind of sit around. I mean, this is obviously good for ISI because he's on the +2. But if you let your enemy reconstitute, then you're going to have some serious issues, so that is a problem. That is a big concern. And yeah, he's not leaving that CV near his howitzers. He's not moving them up while they reload. And this guy isn't moving his at all, so if the enemy wanted to counter battery it, he'd get it straight away. He hasn't gone for it yet, though. He has seen this somehow. Oh, it probably, yeah, because of this, he'll have seen him reverse into there. So he doesn't know exactly where it is, but he saw them reverse in, and they're both very low, and... yeah, he might lose. Whoa, he loses both. So, yeah, I mean, with the HP they were on, and obviously this is... In my opinion, this is the best artillery piece in the game. Like, you could talk about grads and burritos and stuff, but this thing, it comes on a lot of divisions, and for 1 minute's income, it could just sit there plinking people for the whole game. 2 of them together kills a super heavy. Although these days, the quality of play has improved a lot, and you won't see people leaving their super... I mean, this was obviously not great. Generally, people won't leave their heavy tanks kind of in the open to get shot. Depending on who you played against, right? And this wasn't in the open, so... So yes, it can still work. And that's how you use the Abrams. Just come forwards, take a hit, deal a couple hits, kill one thing, you survive, you go back, you heal. Do it again, do it again, do it again. And you should up the kill count, and then they'll send a bomber to try and kill it. Because if you micron it properly, right, then the ATGM shouldn't hit you. It's just you basically really got to focus on it. The enemy doesn't have to do that. Well, I mean, obviously he's got his own heavy tanks in this case, but he's kind of a light div. You just sort of throw all your crap everywhere, and if one of them dies, you know, who cares? You got twice the availability and half the price. So yeah, the arty party continues to starty. This guy's on his merry chase. He's got no AT though, so I guess the idea is to spot these and then call in artillery on them. He's not moving them, so... And, you know, if you're blue, yeah, so at least he's going for this, that's good. And I'm really surprised at the lack of Jaguar 2s, because he does bring them in his deck, and they're really good here, because it's a nice big open field. The M1 can't one-shot you. I don't even think it can two-shot you at max range. And so, you just sit there and just shoot TOW2s at him, and, you know, like, there's been no attempt to capture this. If you capture this, you basically own this zone, because... Or you're most of the way to owning the zone. Because you can see all the way down here. And you can see all the way back here. You put Jaguar 2 there and a Stinger or a Chaparral or whatever. He's playing as Germany, a Roland 2, a Gepard. And then they can't reinforce down here. And then you push it from this way. Obviously, it's easy for us just kind of sat here. Like, it honestly... I've had so many cases recently where it's like... If I was watching somebody else play this game, I would have told them to do this. But at the time, it's like I kind of knew I had to do it, but also I was like, well, just, you know, I'm busy, I'll do it later, and I get, you know, you get tunnel vision. It's very common. It happens to basically everybody. So that is a, I mean, he's been up vetting these, so that's a max vet Eyehawk, which is quite rare to see, because, you know, one counter battery and it's dead. But yeah, it's obviously clearly paid for itself there, and he's not moving it, so now it's going to die. Well, what could I say? And that's why you don't max vet him, because you only get one availability. He brought 2 cards of them, though, so I think he still has 3 across both cards. It might be 2. But yeah, all sorts of things can happen to them. So it's better not to vet them at all. Just bring 3. Same with the Cubs, but Cubs go 4-2 for like no good reason. It's ridiculous. So yes, the Leopard 1 will lose to, because each of these is more than twice as expensive, so, you know, 6 times its 8 times its value, 9 times its value. Not sure why he's not smoking. The Gepards do get smoke. All of this gets smoke. See the Abrams shooting at you, you just smoke. You don't have to just sit there and die. You can smoke. So yeah, bit weird. Not sure about that. A lot of people kind of forget that the Gepard can smoke, and the Roland 2s can smoke, and the Roland 3s can smoke. Tractor Rapier can smoke as well, but it's only got 1 armor. I don't understand why that thing's 100 points. It's dog shit. Anyway. Yeah, so, you know, Red, he's managed to get a nice big blob of tanks, but Blue's ticking up, and... Oh, he finally went for the counter battery. Although he's missed somehow. And he only fired 2 and then just interrupted it. And the scout's dead. Well, it is what it is. So yes, you'd expect the M1A1 to win that fight. With so the ATGMs just deal like mega giga suppression to everything. And so 1 tank plus 1 ATGM will beat, you know, 1 tank, 1 enemy tank of superior value, because the ATGMs will just hit him once and then he's got to go home, even if it misses him. So it is a bit strange. I don't know, I mean, the game's in a really good place, actually, because you get people who say mech's OP, you get people who say infantry's OP, you get people who say airborne's OP, and, you know, that you get people who say reservist slops OP, and so that's because those are all the archetypes, right? So that's indicative of a decent meta. There are obviously divs that are sort of too powerful still, like I'd say 6Y is just stupid. 2nd Panzergren, 20th Polish, 119Y, 79Y now as well is really good because of they made the high altitude bombers better, and so that just means that now its only weakness, which was you know, not good strike craft, well, now it gets good strike craft. Anyway, there goes the Milan 2 team, and the Leopard 2 might die as well because he's not moving it, so it's just getting shot. Oh, just makes it there. Just makes it. And, yeah, it's just 2 guys sat there looking at each other with heavy tanks. I mean, it is what it is. From Blue's perspective, you know, he doesn't really have to push, so I guess what he's doing makes sense, but honestly, like, if you're in this kind of static situation, you really should be attacking. For starters, you should be, like, reinforcing your sides, because the enemy should be coming around the sides. And you should also be sending 1 or 2 units around the side, like, just to frustrate the enemy and stop him from... Because the reason this has happened is because, because somebody was asking me, how do you stop blobs from forming? Well, basically, you just don't play a static game, and you don't just let your enemy sit there and build up a blob. Every tank in that blob represents 1 minute of income. So you have let your enemy sit there for 5 minutes. 6, 7, 8. You know, 9, 10. So if you let your enemy sit there for 10 minutes, then yes, he's going to amass a lot of units, whereas if you're constantly attacking him... But, you know, it's hard to attack without just losing all your stuff. So this kind of thing happens a lot. You do see this a lot. But, yeah, at the kind of higher end, you don't see that many blobs. What you see is kind of small teams of... like a small combined arms force, you'll see just show up on one of your flanks. So it'll be like 1 medium tank, 1 Gepard, 2 infantry, and a recon. And you'll basically just see these little combat groups everywhere. So yeah, this is obviously smart from Red. He should obviously not have the CV one going first. The other one should go first. But it's like they're both going to die. But yeah, going around makes a lot of sense. Thing is, right, so, you know, ISI can just shift all this. I'd be using the road at this point, but, like, these are fast. This goes at 60, this goes at 70, off-road. and they go at, you know, this goes at 75 and 80 on road, which they're just standard speeds, right? So he's finally coming to take this, which is nice. He's a bit more AA, really. But yeah, he's sort of... I mean, he's lost both his RTP. I mean, we spoke about this in the deck review. I don't watch these games beforehand, but that's just a perfect example. I wanted to save 2 units worth of stuff, and in exchange I lost my arty. Right? You see a lot of, like, even the top players, they'll be like, I'll bring the Toad one, and they'll just lose their arty. So, AT playing, doing its absolute best to get hit by AA, but his opponent hasn't bought any. Didn't smoke, so he dies. Still going on that arty, but it is dead. And yeah, EW playing moment. So this has been sent out the zone. I'm not really sure what's going on here. So obviously this shouldn't just be there. This should be back here somewhere, and then these two should come around here. There should be some recon. There's only one recon here from either team. The EW plane just flies over the AA over and over until it dies. And yeah, there's no infantry with AT in here. It's obviously not a good thing. He wasted all his bow pars because he bought 4 here before. So he doesn't have any left. And he keeps sending 1 tank out. Whoa, wow, okay. And then you should smoke. So as soon as that fired, he should have smoked. Like, while the round is in the air, he should have smoked. But look at this, he's getting side shots on these. So that's 3 tanks just died. That's over 3 minutes income. 4 if you include the tow cobra, who just died in a couple seconds. And it's because this guy's getting side shot constantly. So yeah, that's a good way to defend as well. But he keeps coming in from the front. He needs to come in from the side like he did the first time, because then it'll be a side shot. So this thing's... So basically, you should fire your 1 round and then smoke, but in this case, because he just fired it at the M60, you should have just smoked. You don't want to just sit there and let your enemy shoot you. It's a Sun Tzu top tip for you there. So it looks like Village Novice Chief is going to break through. So at this point, instead of buying this, he should be buying a bunch of infantry for Papa. And then, you know, he's sending a new CV, but don't forget you've got this CV, you can send this CV up. And yeah, just some of these things were just in the wrong place, right? If this had been here, then probably wouldn't have happened. Tanks going up 1 at a time to get shot. Typically you want the trash in front, you know, just wait a couple seconds, you've got time. We're stunned now, so you should win that fight. Went on the CV, which makes sense really. And yeah, this should win because this has low cohesion because of the ATGM. So yeah, a lot of fighting in this game is about cohesion nuking. So if there's 2 infantry going up against each other, you want to, you know, obviously you want to kill the other one. But if you can't do that, just try and lower his cohesion as fast as possible. And even things like, you know, dumbfire rockets against tanks, it's not going to kill it, but it'll nuke its cohesion, and then your tank will win the fight. So yeah, this guy, I mean, I don't know, the max vet iHawk moments not really working out for him. Just losing the land 2 there. He must have fired, right? After it fires, you want to move it, but it's hard to remember to do that for all of them all the time, and sometimes you don't see it fire, so you don't know you should move it. Yeah, it looks like a pretty comfortable win for ISI. I mean, you know, it's just... maybe things would have been different if he was on this side, because if he'd lost Alpha, it would have been a lot harder for him to get back in. But, you know, it's Warno. So, not sure what the plan is here. There isn't one, apparently. And, yeah, we'll just speed it up a bit, because, like, this is obviously over, right? And it looks like he's just not going to surrender for the next 8 minutes. Blue's so far ahead here. Really nothing red can do. And obviously he's... Ah, you see the cohesion! So yeah, he is making silly mistakes, right? But you saw that just immediately cohere, because this is only going to do 162. And if it misses, it basically does like 10 or something. It's very, very low. Whereas this will do 275, which will just immediately put them on low cohesion. And if it misses, it still does about half of it, so, or 3/4 or something, it depends. So, yeah, you always want your tanks with ATGMs, like, and that's why IFVs are so useful. You put them with your tanks, but I mean, I just don't know what the hell he's doing here. He's just fast moving his guys in. Lost the first one, just did it again. But at this point, you know, he's probably not paying too much attention. He can't really lose. But Red did get a CV in here. And so there you go. He will stop the tick with 6 minutes left. 1,300 points to make up, so... So, close range arty getting hit now. I do like the idea behind sending these around the sides, you know. It is fun. But yeah, like this, I don't know, like, what's it doing there? Why doesn't it come over here and clean this out? And then you could send the CV. But at this point, it's all just kind of falling apart. Blue is now spending his points. Red trying to get through here, but these guys have shown up now, so I don't really see that working out. And, yeah, big conga line getting typically, I mean, honestly, at every level of the game, as the game goes late, things start getting really weird because people, it's hard to concentrate on one thing for 40 minutes. So, people start losing their, you know, their mindset. So that's sort of where the practice comes in. That's why a guy with 3,000 games is... So you see the power of the double Lars there against infantry, like it does mess them up. It's just... And, you know, for a 1-point slot, like, you can bring that. It's not a problem. It's just typically people aren't doing this, so... But yeah, it is useful. You can use it to do things like that, and with it being a 1-point slot, with the way the deck was built, you see it paying for itself there. So, you know, obviously if the game would go on for 10 billion more years, maybe Red would win, but I mean, come on, really. So there you go. This is ISI, ranked 358 with 844 games this season, 4,000 total. And this is Village Chief, rank 88. Rank 88? Okay, maybe that Heli Rush works like a lot of the time. So yeah, the Heli Rush, you know, it is counterable. And typically, like, because when the game first came out, all the zones were like, and you see the power of these artillery pieces, and, oh, I don't want to move, you know, I don't want to get the self-propelled one. Save myself some points. Oh, I'm dead. I was making another point, I'm sure it's not important. Oh yeah, the zones used to all be like +2s, +3s, and so Airborne was just broken, and Heli Rushes and stuff were just broken, because you take the game, and take the zone, and the game would be over in 5 minutes. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that game. I'll see you in the next one. GG.